Coming up tonight on the news at 5, the leaders for the 2021 legislative session are set. We'll tell you who was selected for each party. And
we anticipate probably a 30 to 40% increase in the number of families that are going to need help.
Nonprofits face an unprecedented need this holiday season. How you can help.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Jessica Nelson. Thank you for joining us. Montana state lawmakers elected their top leaders for the 2021 legislature, and majority Republicans said they're excited about their first chance in 16 years to work in tandem with a Republican governor. But the meetings at the Capitol were not without controversy. MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison has more.
As Republicans chose their 2021 legislative leaders Wednesday, the new Senate Majority Leader, Carrie Smith of Billings, expressed the optimism and excitement that many of them felt.
I am so excited about this legislative session. This is the first opportunity many of us have to work with a Republican governor. It's up to us. We hold all the offices. We hold the leadership. We hold the majorities. And so it's up to us now, as the people of Montana have sent us here, to take and get some good work done.
And the new Speaker of the Montana House, rancher and State Representative Wiley Galt of Martinsdale, said the GOP majorities are ready to carry out the priorities of incoming Republican Governor Greg Gianforte.
We're going to be a united front. We have a Republican governor that we're going to rally behind, and I think the Republican Party is going to move as a block this session.
Republicans have a 67-33 majority in the House and a 31-19 majority in the state Senate. Senator Mark Blaisdell of Kalispell was chosen as the Republican president of the Senate, and House Republicans chose Billings Representative Sue Vinton as Majority Leader, the first female Republican House Majority Leader in Montana history. Democrats said they'll try to work with Republicans on many issues, but they weren't happy with how most GOP members completely ignored public health protocols at their Capitol meetings. In both the House and Senate Republican caucuses held on the Senate and House floors, almost no members wore face masks, which are required of the public in the Capitol. And social distancing seemed largely non-existent as GOP members shook hands and frequently spoke with each other, maskless, in close proximity. On Wednesday, Montana saw more than 1,200 new cases of COVID-19 reported, continuing a huge surge in recent weeks of the spread of the coronavirus across the state. House Minority Leader Kim Abbott of Helena said Democrats won't be participating if such actions continue by GOP members at the Capitol.
What I saw on video of the House chambers today was reckless. And we cannot participate in that kind of recklessness.
Representative Galt said he's willing to talk to Abbott and Democrats about their concerns, but that he may not be able to stop GOP members from doing what they choose to do on the floor or perhaps elsewhere.
I can suggest, but we cannot stop anyone for any reason going onto the House floor and doing what the state elected them to do.
Republicans hold all the political cards in driving the agenda at the 2021 session. But now the hard work begins, deciding just what a session will look like in the midst of a pandemic. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The session is scheduled to convene in Helena on January 4th. All right, switching gears now to our forecast. We'll check in with Curtis for a midweek update.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Looking at a couple of showers in parts of the state earlier today, but this line is the cold front, this line of precipitation, the cold front, and that is moving towards the state right now. And there are thunderstorms in that line. Look at some of the lightning strikes up here, approaching Kellogg into northern Idaho. Around Spokane, we had a couple of lightning strikes earlier. Boise getting hit pretty hard. And this front will be moving through western Montana as we go through this evening. Now, we're a little more than a week away from Thanksgiving. I thought I'd show you the forecast for Thanksgiving. Looking pretty nice right now for most of the state, 30s and 40s. A little windy off the Rocky Mountain front, but that is decent as far as weather goes on Thanksgiving. Tonight, though, we're looking at the possibility of snow squalls, heavy snow squalls, snow showers with maybe even a few lightning strikes in there. Weekend wellness, yeah, it really looks nice here this weekend. And I'll have more on the weather leading up to Thanksgiving coming up in the full forecast.
Montana reported over 1,200 additional COVID-19 cases today, bringing the statewide total to over 51,000. There are now just under 18,000 active cases in Montana. 10 more deaths have been reported since last night, meaning 580 Montanans have died from COVID-19 complications. As a reminder, MTN numbers do vary from the state because we also track data reported by local health departments. Students, parents, and teachers in Great Falls Public Schools are back to remote learning for the next 2 weeks. This comes after an overwhelming number of students and staff were told to quarantine. Remote learning has been off and on all semester long, but what does it actually look like? MTN's Zach Shermley went back to school to find out.
Well, it's about 11:30 a.m. on a Wednesday here at East Middle School, and we're seeing something that we never see, which is totally empty hallways and virtually no noise. So where are all the students and staff? Well, for the next 2 weeks, they'll be online.
So about 2 weeks ago, I contracted COVID.
The pandemic once again hitting home in Great Falls Public Schools.
Slide 41.
They're back to remote learning until the end of the month.
The ghost.
Yeah, they want to see if it really is the ghost of King Hamlet.
Over at Great Falls High, Christine Barrick's AP English class got a head start.
I taught my classes by being home at my kitchen table, and my students would remote in at my classroom.
Her students adapting.
Create my own routine and, a to-do list.
And teachers across the district readjusting.
First thing, checking my email.
That's kind of a constant, that you're kind of constantly checking the email.
To another new normal.
All day long checking emails. It's doing Google Meet to see what kids need for support.
I post on Planbook and Google Classroom. I try to make a fun little message, a welcome message.
It's a tough ask.
Working as many hours as I do every week, it is so difficult to try to maintain a balance.
For parents and teachers alike.
To be able to witness that success firsthand is way more valuable than over a computer.
Staff here at East say they hope they can make the return to in-person learning once this 2-week period is over, but like so many things right now, living in a pandemic, it's just too uncertain to tell. In Great Falls, I'm Zach Shermley, MTN News.
Last week, East Middle School moved to remote learning a day before the rest of the school district after an 8th grade student died. Although classes are still being held online, all students will have access to grief counseling, both over Zoom and in person. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected a lot of families this year, creating an increased need this holiday season, and thankfully a lot of organizations are stepping up to help. Our MTN's John Riley has more.
The COVID-19 pandemic has been a financial strain on a lot of families this year. Toys for Tots in Helena is already collecting donations and coordinating with the health department to develop a plan for their distribution to thousands of local children.
We are starting those sign-ups, and we anticipate probably a 30 to 40% increase in the number of families that are going to need help.
This year, the organization will be operating out of the 4-H building at the fairgrounds, and they're taking sign-ups at Life Covenant Church on Hoback Street. Mears says even with the expected increase in need, he hopes any family that needs support reaches out. After all, they're there to help, and they're not the only one. The United Way of the Lewis and Clark area has compiled a list of organizations that are supporting families this holiday season, whether through children's gifts or making sure food is on the table. Executive Director Emily McVeigh says there's a lot of helping organizations that could use some extra support this year.
A lot of the stuff is virtual and very, very different this year. So a lot of the updates that we've put on the flyer really talk about give that organization a call. See what things look like right now with the Salvation Army. See what things look like right now with Toys for Tots.
Organizations say the best way to help right now is by making a donation, whether that be dropping off a toy or donating online. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
While COVID has impacted volunteer opportunities, there are still many organizations needing help. More information about volunteer work needed in the community can be found on our website. The Lewis and Clark County Commission is meeting tomorrow to take a final vote on the long-debated plan for county zoning in the Helena Valley. Commissioners will consider a resolution to officially create 3 new zoning districts in the valley and establish regulations for them. They'll also vote on setting up a panel including property owners, builders, and other stakeholders that will consider possible alternatives to the proposed 10-acre minimum lot size in rural areas. That was the most contentious provision of the plan. The meeting will begin at 9 a.m. and it will be held at the Great Northern Hotel to allow for more distancing. The meeting will be limited to 50 people in person. Others can participate virtually using Zoom. You can find out how to join in on that meeting on our website. As the contract between the City of Helena and the Helena American Legion Baseball Organization is nearing its conclusion, the city is asking for public comment on how they think Kendrick Legion Field should be used in the future. When the Brewers left, a team with the Expedition League wanted to take the minor leagues team spot and play at Kendrick Legion. Now, the American Legion's contract with the city is set to expire in December, and the city is now asking for public comment on what the next step for the field should be via an online survey. Now, that survey can be found on our website. That's KTVH.com. When we come back, we're halfway through the work week. Curtis breaks down the rest of the forecast and gives us a look at what we can expect this weekend. And later, Americans speak out about the presidential transition. Our Joe St. George tells us what they're saying.
Starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got a pretty large storm system here moving in from the Pacific and through the western United States right now. But a cold front right here. Notice the convection starting to build the leading edge of this circulation right there. That will come through tonight and tomorrow and produce some snow showers and some snow squalls here in parts of the state. But pretty right now around the Great Falls area. 43 degrees, decent amount of sunshine out in parts of the state today. Helena 46, a little cloudier here, not much in the way of wind. But 30s and 40s, not as warm as yesterday when a few spots hit the 60s. And the wind, not too bad. But once that low pressure comes through tonight and tomorrow, that wind will pick back up. Winter weather advisories up around the glacier area and Marias Pass there, the mountains of western Montana, closer to the Bitterroot, and then also out the high line here for just a little light freezing rain and sleet and snow that could make for some slick conditions. But fairly quiet, a few rain showers into eastern Montana, but here comes the front, the rain and some mountain snow right now, a little further wider view, and there is the cold front, and again it's kicking off some thunderstorms, and it would not surprise me if we have a couple of claps of thunder come through the western part of the state here later on this evening. The big picture, and besides the west, a lot of the country is quiet. So the computer model, Future Track, really picking up some of those thunderstorms there, and by the time we get into 9 and 10 o'clock here tonight, we could have a couple of storms coming off of the Rocky Mountain front, working across north central Montana, around the Helena area. May get a quick burst of snow. May even hear a rumble of thunder with the front going through. You can see by about 11 o'clock, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder up there around Havre. And also notice the pink here after about midnight working its way out the high line here. Just a little light freezing rain and sleet and snow. Not going to pile up much here, but just a little coating of ice possible out here along the high line. So watch out for some slippery spots. And then heading into tomorrow, a lot of the state looking pretty nice. But there will be some snow showers in the western mountains, including right around the Helena area. Could get hit by a couple of snow showers. Again, a coating at best here, and then things quiet down, and we're looking at a real nice Friday coming up here with mostly sunny skies for most of the state. So looking pretty nice heading into the weekend. Snowfall amounts, again, the western mountains, also some of the central mountain ranges picking up a few inches of some snow and maybe a coating, a skiff, a dusting around the Helena area here. But let's take a little longer view of the weather. Saturday looking good, Sunday looking good, Monday maybe a few snow showers. That's about it. Tuesday, the wind will increase here, and there will be a bigger storm moving into the Pacific Northwest. We may get a burst of snow on Wednesday morning. But after that, things actually looking pretty quiet. Maybe a couple of snow showers northeast Montana on Thanksgiving. For tonight, a few showers, a few flakes of snow, and maybe a few rumbles of thunder off of the Rocky Mountain front, including around Great Falls and Conrad and Chester by about 9 or 10 o'clock here tonight. But it's Harlem out through Turner and Malta and Hinsdale and Glasgow, where we've got that winter weather advisory for just a little frozen precipitation coming through tonight. Lewistown, maybe a shower, and around the Helena area, some mixed rain and snow. And again, maybe that outside chance of a rumble of thunder around 9 o'clock here tonight. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. 30s and 40s with a decent amount of sun out the high line here. Everybody will be looking at windy conditions, some snow showers around the Little Belts, and then also some snow showers right near Helena for your Thursday afternoon. Here's the 7-day forecast. So a few snow showers tomorrow, mostly sunny on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A couple of snow showers on Monday, and maybe a burst of rain and snow on Wednesday morning. That's a big travel day, of course. And for Great Falls, outside chance of a snow shower tomorrow and an outside chance of a snow shower on Monday. Otherwise, pretty quiet besides the wind.
What are typical Americans saying on both sides of the presidential transition? Take a look.
Sometimes the best way to get the pulse of the country,
I think if we don't discuss it, we'll never heal,
is to have a socially distanced conversation with the neighbors.
I accept the fact that Joe Biden's going to be the president.
We first met this group of retirees a few weeks before the election in Maricopa County, Arizona. Now that it's over, we're checking back in, and well, the divisions are still there between those who voted for President-elect Biden and those who voted for President Trump.
But when he concedes, that means the election is over. No. Doesn't mean squat.
One thing that is obvious.
You people believe in your source of information?
The differences here trace back to where each person gets their news.
and I read everything I can.
Rosanna, who voted for Biden, trusts the major news networks. She watches them all. Marty and Chris, who voted for Trump, tells us for them, Fox News is not conservative enough anymore.
I got away from Fox News about 6-8 months ago.
Because this group is operating on two different perceptions, it's tough to find unison.
COVID is sort of big on my mind.
Especially with how the country should handle this pandemic.
If I got COVID, I would want to take hydroxychloroquine.
Most of the world scientists have been
I would
paid
say almost all
one
of
way
them.
or another to do some sort of a study.
Scientists are telling us this, and what is Marty saying? Oh,
Do you not believe in COVID?
So,
What? But you shut down the entire economy for the
Nobody's saying
Nobody
that.
knows what to do, Marty. There's never happened before.
This debate is what President-elect Biden will inherit come January.
I feel there's turmoil.
And so far, Biden supporters here feel the transition has been turbulent. Marty and Chris.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a big deal.
all year.
I don't think there's a big turmoil going on.
One big challenge for the president-elect is whether Americans who didn't vote for Biden can somehow be won over.
Anything you could do? Stop all this hatefulness.
The only problem, though, is everyone on this porch believes the division is here to stay.
I don't think that the division's going to go one way or the other. I don't think it's ever going to be solved.
It's never going to be solved.
One lesson for all of us, though, is no one here cursed or left early because they disagreed. Everyone listened to each other, and maybe that's what the country needs.
I think it's good to get somebody else's opinion, but just don't make it personal.
In Buckeye, Arizona, I'm Joe St. George.
The Fairfield Eagles will play in the Class B state championship this weekend. We catch up with one of their star players.
News leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back with us. The Fairfield Eagles will play in the Class B state championship this weekend, thanks in part to one superstar player. Here's Tom Wiley with more.
With their season on the line in the Class B semifinals, Fairfield was locked in an overtime battle with Florence Carlton. That's when Miguel Perez, a junior linebacker, came up with the biggest play of his life.
The thing that made me jump that route was he came across and he kind of tried posting me up in the end zone. I'm like, not today. And I'm like, this is my season on the line, so I just went with all I got and tried to jump the route and ended up picking it off, and just the feeling of getting that game-sealing interception was incredible.
But the moment wasn't a fluke. Perez has shown a knack for making the big play all season long. Just moments earlier, he scored what would be the game-winning touchdown and helped keep the Falcons scoreless in regulation.
He's a special player, special kid,
and he just comes ready to go every single day. And you know, he seems to always know where the ball's going and where the ball is. So I was real excited for him.
Trying to be humble here, but my mindset going into a game is that no one's going to stop me in every aspect of the game, and that I'm just going to do the best I can to come out on top and win every open ball that's in the air, win every hit, fight for extra yards, and win every tackle. So just trying to be a menace on the field.
One thing Perez hasn't forgotten was the way Fairfield's season ended last year. The Eagles were on the losing end of a last-minute touchdown in the semifinals against Manhattan. Perez has been waiting all year for another crack at the Tigers, and he and his teammates have earned it on their home field.
It's almost like it's a book, story written pretty much, because we lost out, had a nail-biter last year with them, and then just to get some of that sweet revenge is what we're hoping for.
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's all for us this evening. Nightly News is next.